Exclusive. Leaked. No one saw this coming. You are not ready for what just surfaced. Because this isn't just another hip-hop rumor. This is the kind of situation that can split a family, shake an entire legacy, and expose things that were never supposed to leave the editing room. And at the center of it all, King Harris. Desperate. Panicked. Reportedly reaching out behind the scenes, trying to stop one man from pushing a button that could change everything forever. That man, 50 Cent. And according to multiple sources and viral leak threads blowing up right now, 50 Cent allegedly has access to raw, unfiltered footage from T.I.'s upcoming documentary. Not the polished version. Not the edited story. The real footage. The kind that shows what actually happened when cameras weren't supposed to matter. We're talking about heated arguments, private family tension, and one particular moment insiders are calling too real for the public. And here's the part that has everyone shook. 50 isn't just sitting on it. He's teasing it. Posting cryptic captions. Dropping hints. And possibly preparing to release something that could completely flip how fans see T.I. and his entire family. But the biggest twist. King Harris allegedly stepped in and tried to shut it all down. Direct messages. Urgent calls. A full-on plea to stop the leaks before things go too far. And 50's response. Let's just say, it didn't calm anything down. Because now, there's talk of one final clip. The one nobody wants to see. The one that could destroy everything. And if that drops, this won't just be drama. This will be a meltdown. To really understand why this situation has exploded the way it has, you have to step back and look at the history between everyone involved. Because none of this is random. Every piece of this drama has been building for years, and now it's all colliding at the worst possible moment. First, let's talk about T.I. We're not just talking about any artist. We're talking about someone who has spent decades carefully shaping his image, his legacy, and most importantly, his narrative. From the streets to superstardom, from legal troubles to business ventures, T.I. has always been strategic about how his story is told. Even when controversy hit, he found ways to reposition himself, to regain control, to rewrite the perception. That's why this documentary was such a big deal. This wasn't just content, it was control. Insiders say this project was meant to be the most honest, most detailed look into his life ever put on screen. A chance to address everything, his past, his family, his growth, but on his terms. Edited. Structured. Controlled. But here's where things get complicated. Because when you try to tell a real story, other people's truths start creeping in. And that's where King Harris comes into the picture. Now King isn't just T.I.'s son, he's become a personality in his own right. Social media presence, interviews, viral moments, he's been building his own identity separate from his father's shadow. But the way he talks about his upbringing, that's where people started noticing something wasn't lining up. Because while T.I. has always painted a picture of discipline, structure, and guidance, King has, at times, hinted at something very different. You've seen the clips. The interviews where he pushes back. The moments where he challenges the narrative. The subtle comments that sound like frustration disguised as confidence. And fans picked up on it. For a while, people thought it was just generational differences. A young man trying to define himself. A father trying to maintain order. Nothing unusual. But now, those old moments are being replayed with completely different eyes. Because what if those weren't just disagreements? What if those were warnings? Now let's bring in the third piece of this puzzle, the most unpredictable one. 50 Cent. If there's one thing you need to understand about 50, it's this: he doesn't move without purpose. Everything he does, every post, every comment, every troll has layers to it. People like to call it trolling. But more often than not, it's exposure. Over the years, 50 has built a reputation for pulling back the curtain on the industry. Whether it's calling out artists, exposing behind-the-scenes politics, or hinting at things nobody else is willing to say out loud, he's made it clear that he's not interested in playing nice. And his history with T.I. It's complicated. They've had moments of respect, sure, but there's always been an underlying tension. Competitive energy. Different philosophies. Different ways of moving. They are both alpha personalities. And when two people like that operate in the same space, there's always a possibility for conflict. Now here's where everything starts to connect. According to insiders, T.I.'s documentary wasn't just being produced by one team. There were multiple hands involved: production companies, editors, possibly even distribution partners. Which means one thing: access. More people than you think had access to that footage. And if even any of those people decided to leak something, that's all it takes. Because once content leaves a controlled environment, it's no longer controlled. And that's exactly what seems to have happened. The first leak didn't feel like an accident. It felt intentional. Strategic. Like someone knew exactly what they were doing, and who they were giving it to. And somehow, that footage ended up in the orbit of 50 Cent. Now think about that for a second. Out of all the people in the industry, out of all the possible destinations, it lands with someone known for amplifying chaos. That's not coincidence. That's positioning. And once 50 got it, everything changed. Because now, instead of a carefully crafted documentary rollout, you've got fragmented clips hitting the internet, out of context moments going viral, and a narrative forming that T.I. doesn't control anymore. And King Harris, he's right in the middle of it. Because the clips that have surfaced so far, they don't just show T.I. They show the family dynamic. They show tension. They show disagreement. And more importantly, they show cracks. Cracks that were never supposed to be public. Now imagine being in King's position. You've already had moments where the internet questioned your story. You've already been compared to your father's version of events. And now, there's footage. Real footage. That could either confirm everything you've hinted at, or completely twist the narrative against you. That's pressure. That's exposure. That's the kind of situation where you don't just sit back and watch. You act. And according to what's being circulated right now, that's exactly what King did. He reached out. Tried to stop it. Tried to contain something that was already slipping through his fingers. But here's the problem. Once something hits the internet, it doesn't go backwards. And once 50 Cent gets involved, it doesn't slow down. It speeds up. Because now this isn't just about a documentary anymore. It's about control versus exposure. Family versus public perception. Truth versus narrative. And the worst part, we haven't even seen the full picture yet. Because if the clips that have already leaked are causing this much chaos, what happens when the next one drops? The one insiders keep warning about. The one people are calling the breaking point. Because if that footage is real, this situation won't just be messy. It'll be irreversible. And the question everyone is asking right now is simple. Who really has control anymore? Everything truly exploded the moment the first real leak hit the internet. Not rumors. Not speculation. Actual footage. And the way it dropped. That's what made it feel intentional. It was posted at exactly 2:17 a.m. No caption. No tags. Just a burner account with a username nobody recognized, and a 14-second video clip that immediately sent shockwaves through hip-hop Twitter. At first, people didn't even realize what they were looking at. The footage was grainy. Unedited. You could hear background noise, voices overlapping, tension thick in the air. But then one line cut through everything. You keep telling people one story, but that's not how it happened. The internet froze. Because that voice. It sounded like King Harris. Within minutes, the clip was screen recorded, reposted, and blasted across every platform. Blogs picked it up instantly. Fan pages started breaking it down frame by frame. And suddenly, the question shifted from, is the documentary coming, to what else is in that footage? Then came the first bombshell. A second angle of the same moment surfaced, this time slightly clearer audio. And now, you could hear another voice, calmer, controlled, but unmistakable. Allegedly T.I. "We're not doing this right now." That line alone changed everything. Because this wasn't acting. This wasn't a staged documentary moment. This felt real. Raw. Uncomfortable. And that's when the hashtags took over. #KingHarris. #TI.leak. #FamilyExposed. Millions of views in hours. But just as the internet was trying to process that, 50 Cent entered the chat. Not with a full explanation. Not with denial. But with a post that made things 10 times worse. A screenshot. Blurry, but clear enough to show a timeline from what looked like editing software. On the side, episode titles. And one of them stood out immediately. Episode 3, Family Truth. Caption: "You'll only seen 14 seconds, imagine the rest." That was it. No emojis. No jokes. Just enough to let everyone know. He had more. And just like that, the situation turned from viral moment into a full-blown crisis. Because now people weren't asking if there was more. They knew there was. And according to what started circulating next, King Harris knew it too. That's when the alleged DMs surfaced. Screenshots posted by multiple pages, unverified, but identical across accounts, which made people pause. The messages showed someone labeled King sending. "Take that down. This ain't for the public. You crossing a line." And the reply: cold. Short. Disrespectful. Then y'all shouldn't have recorded it. The internet lost it. Because if those messages were real, that meant this wasn't random. King wasn't just reacting publicly. He was trying, privately, to shut 50 down. And failing. That's when the pressure started building behind the scenes. Insiders claim T.I.'s team went into emergency mode. Calls being made. Lawyers getting involved. Attempts to track where the footage came from. Because here's the scary part. This wasn't just one clip anymore. It was a leak pipeline. And then came the next drop. Longer clip. Around 27 seconds. And this is where things took a darker turn. In the footage, T.I. is sitting down, no camera awareness, no performance, just talking. You can't hear everything clearly, but certain phrases stand out. "I had to make decisions you didn't understand. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I was protecting you. The internet went silent. Because now it wasn't just tension. It sounded like explanation. Like justification. Like something deeper was being addressed. And fans immediately started connecting dots. Old interviews. Past arguments. Moments where King pushed back on his upbringing narrative. Everything started aligning in a way that made people uncomfortable. Because suddenly, it felt like the documentary wasn't just telling T.I.'s story. It was exposing conflicting truths. And just when people thought they had a handle on the situation, the first twist dropped. A new post from 50 Cent. This time not a clip. Not a screenshot. A caption. Funny how people want to tell the truth, until the truth tells on them. That line hit different. Because it suggested something bigger. Something hidden. Something not yet revealed. And then came the rumor that changed everything. According to a source claiming to be part of the production team, 50 didn't get the footage by accident. He didn't hack it. He didn't guess. He was given it. By someone inside. That's when the narrative flipped completely. Because now the question wasn't just, what's in the documentary? It became, who inside T.I.'s circle wanted this out? Betrayal. That word started trending. Because leaks like this don't happen without access. And access doesn't come without trust. Which means someone trusted, broke it, and handed the footage to the one person guaranteed to make it explode. 50 Cent. Now think about that. Out of everyone in the industry, that's who it went to. That's not random. That's calculated. And now King Harris isn't just dealing with public exposure. He's dealing with internal damage. Because if someone inside the project is leaking, then this situation is way deeper than social media drama. It's internal warfare. And according to insiders, there's still one clip left. The one people behind the scenes are calling the breaking point. The one King allegedly doesn't want anyone to see. And if that's true, then what we've seen so far is just the beginning. Because whatever is in that final clip is big enough to make a son beg. And bold enough to make 50 Cent keep going. And the scariest part, nobody knows when it's dropping. But one thing is clear. When it does, nothing will be the same. The situation didn't just escalate, it detonated. Because right when people thought they had a handle on what was happening, right when fans believed this was just about a few leaked clips and some family tension, the internet took a hard left turn into something much bigger. And it started with one thread. A Twitter thread that came out of nowhere. No verified account. No history. Just a username nobody recognized and a title that immediately grabbed attention. Thread: what King Harris really tried to warn us about before the leaks. Within minutes, it had thousands of likes. Within an hour, hundreds of thousands. Because the thread didn't just talk. It connected dots. It pulled old interviews, clips where King Harris openly pushed back against the narrative of his upbringing. It highlighted moments where he seemed frustrated, where he hinted that things weren't always what they looked like. But the most chilling part, the thread lined up those moments with timestamps from the leaked footage. Like someone had been watching this unfold for a long time. And then came the line that made everything explode. This documentary wasn't supposed to show both sides, but it accidentally did. That sentence hit like a bomb. Because suddenly, this wasn't about a leak ruining a rollout. This was about a narrative getting out of control. And right on cue, 50 Cent posted again. This time, no video. No screenshot. Just a black background with white text. Ownership matters, especially when you can't edit the truth. That caption sent shockwaves. Because now people were asking a completely different question. Did T.I. even fully own this documentary? Or was someone else behind the scenes holding power over what gets shown, and what doesn't? That's when the second shocking reveal hit. A blog dropped what they claimed was an insider statement from someone directly connected to production. According to this source, T.I. was not the sole decision-maker. There were multiple stakeholders, multiple producers, multiple people with access to raw footage, and most importantly, multiple people with the ability to leak it. That changed everything. Because now this wasn't just about 50 Cent trolling. This wasn't even just about King Harris reacting. This was about internal cracks. Because if someone inside the production decided to leak footage, that means this situation started from within. And here's where it gets even crazier. Another alleged leak surfaced. A screenshot of a group chat, names blurred, but one message stood out clearly. He don't control it like people think he do. That line alone sent fans into a frenzy. Because if T.I. didn't have full control over his own documentary, then everything about this rollout was already compromised. And 50. He wasn't creating chaos. He was amplifying it. Now the internet split into factions. You had Team 50 saying he exposing what they tried to hide. Team T.I. saying this is sabotage. And Team King saying he tried to warn everybody. Meanwhile, influencers started going live, breaking everything down, zooming into clips, analyzing body language. And one particular video went viral, an old interview where King Harris says, "People be telling stories like they perfect, but everybody got parts they don't say." At the time, it sounded like a general statement. Now, it sounded specific, directed, like he was hinting at something long before any of this leaked. And that's when things took another turn. Because 50 Cent didn't stop. He posted again. This time, a blurred image. But fans enhanced it, zoomed it, cleaned it up. And what they think they saw? A file labeled Final Cut, Do Not Release. The internet lost it. Because if that's real, that means there's an entire version of this documentary that was never meant to be seen. Not by fans. Not by the public. Maybe not even by everyone involved. And according to insiders, that version contains the missing piece. The part that explains why King Harris is allegedly trying so hard to shut everything down. Because here's the rumor that's now spreading like wildfire. That final unreleased footage isn't just about T.I. It's about King. Something personal. Something that flips the narrative completely. And if that's true, then this whole situation changes. Because now it's not just about a father's story being exposed. It's about a son's truth being revealed. Without his control. And that's why this next detail shook everyone. Another alleged message surfaced, this time from someone claiming to be close to King Harris. The message read, "It ain't just about protecting him, it's about protecting himself." That line, dangerous. Because it suggests something deeper. Something more personal. Something we haven't seen yet. And just when the tension reached its peak, 50 Cent went silent. No posts. No hints. Nothing. And that silence, it's louder than everything he posted before. Because when someone like 50 goes quiet, It usually means one thing. He's waiting. Waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect timing. The perfect drop. And insiders are now saying that moment is coming. Because according to multiple sources, there is one final clip. The one people behind the scenes are calling the breaking point. The one that could explain everything. And the scariest part. Nobody knows when it's dropping. But one thing is certain. When it does, this won't just be internet drama anymore. This becomes something else entirely. And right now, everybody's watching. Waiting. Because the next move could change everything. The moment the leaks crossed from internet gossip into industry-level chaos, everything changed. Because now it wasn't just fans arguing in comment sections. Now it was everybody. Celebrities. Media outlets. Radio hosts. Podcasters. Even people who usually stay completely silent on drama were suddenly speaking up. And the reactions. They were messy, divided, and loud. Within hours, #FreeTheDoc and #StopTheLeaks were both trending at the same time. Two completely opposite movements. One side of the internet was saying, drop everything. Let the truth come out. The other side was saying, this is a family situation. This shouldn't be public. And that split. It created a digital war zone. Fan pages started posting side-by-side breakdowns. Old clips versus new leaks. Quotes vs contradictions. People were building timelines like detectives. Trying to figure out what was real, and what had been hidden. Meanwhile, major hip-hop blogs like they were covering a breaking case. Headlines everywhere. Is 50 Cent exposing T.I. or destroying him? King Harris speaks out, but is it too late? Leaked documentary footage raises serious questions. And the craziest part? Every headline made it bigger. Because the more coverage it got, the more pressure built. Then came the influencers. You had YouTubers going live for hours. Breaking down every second of the clips. Slowing down audio. Analyzing tone. And one particular breakdown went viral when a creator said, this ain't just a leak, this is a narrative war. That phrase stuck. Because it explained everything perfectly. This wasn't about one video. This was about control of a story. And who gets to tell it. Then the celebrities started reacting. Subtle at first. A tweet here. A like there. But then it got louder. One rapper posted, never let nobody else hold your story, they'll tell it how they want. Another said, family business don't belong on the internet, but if it's already out, the truth better come with it. That second line. People read into it heavy. Because it sounded like someone who knew more than they were saying. And then came the comedians. And when comedians get involved, you know it's reached another level. One stand-up clip started circulating where the comic joked, 50 don't leak stuff, he releases it like an album rollout. The crowd went crazy. But behind the joke, there was truth. Because that's exactly what it felt like. Strategic. Timed. Intentional. And now even radio stations were picking it up. Morning shows debating it. Callers arguing live on air. Some defending T.I., saying, he built his legacy. You're not about to tear that down off leaks. Others siding with King Harris, saying, if he's speaking out, there's a reason. And then came the industry insiders. The people who don't usually speak publicly. But when they do, everybody listens. One anonymous executive was quoted saying, "This is what happens when too many people have access to unfinished stories." Another said, "Once footage leaves the editing room, you've already lost control." That line hit hard, because it confirmed what people were starting to realize. This wasn't just a leak. This was a breakdown of control. And then the memes hit. And when memes hit, that's when you know it's everywhere. People joking about Episode 3, Family Truth. Clips of 50 Cent edited like a movie villain. Posts saying, 50 got the whole documentary in his drafts. It was funny. But it also kept the story alive. Because every meme, every joke, was another reminder. Another push. Another moment keeping the situation trending. But not everybody was laughing. Some fans were genuinely uncomfortable. Posting things like, "This don't feel like entertainment anymore. This feels too personal." And that's when the conversation shifted again. Because now people weren't just debating sides. They were questioning the entire situation. Should this even be happening publicly? Should these clips even be out? And that's when a major media personality dropped a statement that changed the tone completely. They said, "Everybody's focused on who's right, but nobody's asking why this footage exists in the first place." Silence. Because that question, it hit deeper than everything else. Why was all of this recorded? Why was it even possible to leak? And more importantly, who benefits from it being out? Because at this point, it's bigger than 50. Bigger than T.I. Even bigger than King Harris. This is about exposure, narratives, control, and the industry watching closely. Because make no mistake, they are watching. Quietly. Carefully. Because if something like this can happen here, it can happen anywhere. And then, just when things felt like they might start cooling down, a new quote started circulating. Nobody knows exactly who said it first. But it spread fast. Real fast. If that last clip drops, this conversation changes forever. And just like that, everything got tense again. Because now the reactions aren't just about what's already out. They're about what's coming next. And the entire world is waiting. And now it's your turn to speak on this. Because this situation is way bigger than just another piece of internet drama. You've seen the leaks. You've heard the audio. You've watched how this whole thing spiraled from one clip into what might be one of the most explosive situations we've seen in hip-hop in a long time. So let me ask you directly. Who do you believe? Is 50 Cent exposing something that was always meant to come out? Or is he crossing a line that should never have been touched? Is T.I. protecting his legacy? Or trying to control a narrative that's starting to crack? And what about King Harris? Is he speaking up because he's tired of the story being told for him? Or because there's something deeper he doesn't want the world to see? Drop your honest opinion in the comments right now. No holding back. Because the conversation around this is only getting louder, and some of the realest takes are coming straight from people like you. And don't just comment. I need you to hit that like button if you want the full truth to keep coming out. Because the more this video gets pushed, the harder it is for stories like this to stay hidden. And if you think this is crazy, you have no idea what's coming next. Because the moment that final clip drops, the one insiders keep warning about, we're breaking it down immediately. No delays. No filters. Just straight facts and everything they don't want you to notice. So make sure you subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Because trust me, You do not want to miss the next update on this. This story isn't over. Not even close.